WWE Money in the Bank is this Saturday live at the O2 Arena in London, across the pond. Going to give you quick predictions here today. Going to go through the 7 matches nice and briefly. If you want to see more detail, then go and check out the Predictions podcast. But without further ado, to spice things up just a little bit as well, I'm going to go through the video of what I also think will be the match order on the show. So let's kick things off then. What I think will be the hardest match to call, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We've got Shinsuke, Nakamura, Ricochet, Logan Paul, LA Knight, Damian Priest, Santos, Escobar and Butch all taking part in this match. Of the lineup, I think 3 superstars have a potential shot in winning this. First off, LA Knight, yeah, he's over like Rover, every catchphrase is catching on, and well, time is money. There's no time like the present. Maybe LA Knight should go and win the briefcase because, well, he's entering his 40s. WWE don't have 10 to 15 years to make this guy a star. They need to do it here, they need to do it now, and they can make a star for the next few years. Damian Priest also in the same boat right now, also had a fantastic program with Bad Bunny earlier this year. This could be a good opportunity to push him going forward. I can see potential feuds with the likes of maybe a breakaway from Judgment Day even, perhaps going on the way to defeating Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship, or even Seth for the World Heavyweight Championship. But perhaps maybe Logan Paul could be that guy, someone who's 28 years old, someone that could go away with a briefcase, because we can have 2 Money in the Bank briefcases. Logan Paul could be going off, doing his impulsive, doing media appearances, being with Jake Paul when he does his fights, holding that briefcase, and could appear when no one expects it to cash in and go for a world championship. I wouldn't be surprised if WWE did that. All 3 have logic, but I can only pick one. I'm going with my heart. LA Knight will be the prediction, although if I'm going with my head, I would have said Damian Priest, but like I say, it really could be any of the 3, and there's an outside bet as well. I think that Butch will be actually announced as Pete Dunne coming to the ring to get a monster pop from the crowd. Cody Rhodes is taking on Dominik Mysterio. I think Cody picks up the win here. There is perhaps teases that Brock Lesnar could come to London to cost Cody to set up the match for SummerSlam. I think that's more likely on a rematch on Raw. I think this will be straight one-on-one. I think Cody is going to get the massive blows with the London pop, and I think he'll pick up a victory as well. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler defend the unified women's tag team championships against the champions that never lost the belts, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, having to give them up when Liv got injured. But of course, Liv Morgan made her return to SmackDown this past Friday. It's great to see this match taking place here, although I do think Ronda and Shayna will retain. I think a division will start to be formed after this match, but I do think Liv and Raquel will go back to singles duties. Rhea Ripley is in need of new challengers for her Women's World Championship. Seth Freakin Rollins will have potentially a match of the night candidate with Finn Balor. Really looking forward to this one. I do think Seth is going to retain the championship, but potentially could be vulnerable to a Money in the Bank cash-in, depending on who wins early in the evening. But also, what I do expect to happen, I think Drew McIntyre returns to WWE. Imagine if he was a late addition to Money in the Bank. Say he took out Butch earlier in the evening and was to cash in Money in the Bank, defeating Seth Rollins and being a world champion going into SummerSlam, where those 2 could have a proper program. Whatever happens, I think Seth defeats Finn, and I do think that Drew McIntyre returns, and I still think that match will be built for SummerSlam. One match that's definitely going to slap is Gunther versus Matt Riddle for the Intercontinental Championship. Really looking forward to this one. I think Gunther will retain. Of course, both of these very familiar with the UK audience. I expect this again to be a match of the night candidate. Would this lead to the return of Randy Orton, perhaps on American soil? I don't think that will happen here. I imagine the numbers game will prove too much for Matt Riddle. We have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We've got Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, Zoey Stark, Zelina Vega, Bayley and Io Sky all taking part. Looking at the combatants, I think that Becky, Trish and Zoey Stark will all cancel each other out. I think the storyline will be to build Becky versus Trish for SummerSlam. I think Zelina Vega is there to make up the numbers, so I think the interesting 2 to keep an eye out for are the 2 Damage Control members, Io Sky and Bayley. Honestly, I could see it going either way. I will predict Io Sky to have a breakup moment and to be, well, a jealousy storyline from Bayley, perhaps trying to win the briefcase from her or stopping her successfully cashing in Money in the Bank. Alternatively, Bayley could actually win Money in the Bank and could cash in on an Io Sky Championship opportunity, perhaps against Asuka. Maybe that could be at SummerSlam, or perhaps maybe a Payback or Fastlane, and that way you could build the friction even further. Bayley being the champion and ultimately long-term Io Sky being the champion. For me though, I will predict Io Sky of the 2, just purely because I think she could do with that breakout moment, and it could start here at Money in the Bank. You can still do a similar and effective program with Bayley moving forward past Money in the Bank. And the main event of the show will be the Bloodline Civil War. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa taking on the Usos. Just when you feel like the Bloodline storyline needs to end, another layer of greatness is brought up to us, and honestly, this is becoming one of the greatest storylines in WWE history, if not the greatest. I cannot wait to see how this is going to play out at Money in the Bank and how it will impact SummerSlam. My prediction, I think the Usos, the ready-made tag team, will pick up the win here, and this will really upset Roman Reigns, as I think Solo Sikoa, for the second POE in a row, will be eating the pinfall. And of course, if Solo is eating the pinfall for the second POE in a row, not only is he losing, so is Roman Reigns, someone who is not used to losing. And when he does, it seems to be, and he's always in a tag team. I expect more friction moving forward than with the Bloodline, possibly even with Solo Sikoa aligning himself with the Usos going towards SummerSlam, as Roman Reigns hasn't got many more other people to blame. It's Solo that's next, and then, well, it's going to be the wise man after that. We are close to seeing Roman Reigns being, well, on the island of relevancy all on his own. I'm intrigued to see how the championship match is going to work itself out for SummerSlam this year. But that's my quick predictions there for Money in the Bank 2023. Let me know your predictions now in the comments below. If you want to see more detail, including my guest NXT Steve as well, check out the predictions podcast on the side of your screen right now. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. You've been watching SCW here on YouTube. Take care.